Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Can you survive a divorce? Can you survive a divorce after infidelity? A divorce can be a tumultuous time of financial and emotional strain. Feelings are hurt, financial support and security are changing, and a complete lifestyle alteration occurs during and after divorce. Today on rSpace, we hear from one brave and bold survivor. Found out about my wife's work affair last night. So my wife and I just celebrated our 6 years being married, 10 years together, and we have 2 children. We have not had the smoothest ride during our relationship, some of which is my fault, some is hers, and some is both of us. We are a strong couple when we are close and things are great, and other times, we are weak. Anyways, as of recently, about 2 months ago, I've noticed small differences in her behavior, timeline, and actions. For instance, she started having to stay late every day for work meetings. She's been getting home later and later, citing traffic as the reason, which doesn't add up to me. Overly eager for me to do things without her. Excessively in the bathroom multiple times in a short period. Long walks with the dog in the cold, which she never did before because she hates the cold. Going out with coworkers often. She never used to go out, and now it's every week. Coming home late and not answering her phone. So anyways, clearly I knew something was up. I asked her if there was something she needed to tell me and if there was someone else. She said no every time, and convincingly so. Even swore that she would never do that. I was highly upset and skeptical this past Friday. She went out with co-workers, and the last call from her was at 8:10 p.m. She said she couldn't hear, but wanted to tell me she was okay and hung up. I called and texted several times later that night, and there was no response. She calls me at 3 a.m. and said she's sorry, fell asleep at a friend's house. That didn't sit right with me at all. I felt something was wrong. Anyways, fast forward to last night. I log into my phone account and immediately see all of these calls and texts from a number that belonged to Rochester, New York. I remember her telling me that her coworker's from Rochester, New York, and she was calling him every time she stepped out to walk the dog, after getting off the phone with me on her way home, and at 9:45 p.m. for 45 minutes that night that she didn't come home until 3. Boom. So I wake her up and confront her. She had a dumbfounded and shocked look on her face and lied right to my face, even with me telling her that I know what's been going on and I know who it's with. Then she tells me, "There was someone, but there's not anymore." And I called BS on that again. Finally, I tell her who it is, and her face dropped. She started apologizing profusely, but I just can't accept it. She's hurt me terribly, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Now she's telling me he was just a friend and an easy person to talk to, but with how many calls and texts there are, the timing, the days, and the lengths, I feel strongly in my core that it was way more than that, and that they slept together. Please let me know your thoughts. Edit, 12/15/2021. Thanks so much to everyone with the overwhelming support. This is a very difficult time, and while I am typically strong and sound-minded, I feel incredibly weak, vulnerable, and defeated. It's hard to hold back tears and to not descend into an ever downward spiraling hole of misery. You guys are keeping me afloat. Another edit on 12/15/2021. Looking at the timeline of all the call logs, there are many calls that come to her when she conveniently was away and available for a phone call, but no texts to him. So I asked her how she knew how to call him, Snapchat, fake number, etc., and she denied and avoided the question like I was an idiot. Edit on 12/16/2021. Found call logs going back to September late at night with her calling a different guy that we both know, and as far as I knew, she never even had his number. Update. Divorce after wife's affair with her coworker. Update 6/23/2022. I was in a dark place for a few weeks after D-Day until I looked at myself in the mirror and said I was better than this. I decided to see her for what she was and not what I built her up to be. There was no desire, effort on her end to reconcile. So I drew the line in the sand, and since that far, I implemented the 180 and Grey Rock method. I severed the emotional attachment and moved forward for me and my children. I made a promise that she wouldn't see me cry again. I filed for divorce, and I couldn't be happier for it. Ever since I let her go, everything else in my life has improved. And I mean everything. It was like I was hanging on to a helium balloon in one hand and an anchor in the next. And once I let go of the anchor, everything else rose up. I have been heavy in the gym, and I'm now the healthiest and strongest I've ever been. I got bikes for the kids and our relationship is absolutely wonderful, and we have so much quality time together. I've made new friends and improved relationships with existing friends. I was given more responsibility at my job and increased my salary. Also was able to get a house for my kids and I that we will be moving into in August. Life is good. If anyone needs words of encouragement, someone to relate to, or just to see what's possible, feel free to reach out or check my Instagram, as I now have gotten back to posting motivational videos like I used to love to do. Let's check to see what the community thinks. Starting off with Eric J. Dev. I just looked through your history and you have made an incredible turnaround. The betrayal you suffered is so vile and your courage and character are shining through. Good on you for prioritizing your children and your well-being and taking positive steps to move forward. The OP responds, "Thank you so much. When I say I was in a dark place for the first 3 weeks is an understatement. Not being able to think clearly, having a hard time when the world got silent, continuously crying, knowing that I don't have any family in the state to lean on, I was just about gone. But I took what little bit of belief I had left and I doubled the F down. I made a decision and continue to move forward each dang day. I am so incredibly proud of myself, I didn't even take to the bottle or any drugs. Raw healing on my own, along with the help of Reddit, friends, and family phone calls." Frontlion 5098 chimes in, "Awesome, man. Glad it was working out for you. Good on the 180. No time for her BS. She made her bed and now, well, tough crap for her. I do hope she is suffering mentally considering what she has done to you and your marriage. She needs to be remorseful and understand that some of us, many of us, are done putting up with the betrayal. We are better than this. I hope the affair partner is out of her life too. Stay strong." The OP responds, "No, affair partner has still been in her life. She still denies it, but he's over her new apartment while she's crying for me because she missed me, according to my children. She told me that she missed me the other day, and I responded, 'That's understandable,' and that was it. Good riddance." Patient Carpenter 83 has something to say. "My friend, still friends with an affair partner means that it's not over. It happened to me too. The day I found out, I told her to end it, and my spouse said that she was going to end it anyways, to make me feel worse. Anyways, I know for a fact that they're still together. He's a 36-year-old coworker with an alcohol problem that pursued her knowing that she was married. My spouse is a decade younger. She started drinking a lot and paying for hotels for him, spending our money. Nevertheless, it takes two people to do this. It is a sign that you're better off without your spouse. She isn't. My spouse isn't better off without me. In fact, most of her savings are gone. She's living paycheck to paycheck and is drinking more. Move on and work on yourself. Life is a beautiful thing to be enjoyed." When your relationship is over, OP, it's hard to get used to solo life. When you've been one half of a couple, losing that role can make you question who you are. The we doesn't exist anymore. So you need to connect with your individual identity, which is exactly what you've been doing. This is fantastic. You've come out of the divorce darkness, so celebrate the occasion. Take a trip with friends, kids, or by yourself if you can't afford it. Divorce is a process of going through and coming out the other side. You're moving forward with your new life, and we couldn't be happier for you. Tell us how you survived when you thought you wouldn't make it out alive. And that's all for now. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let us know what you thought of today's content in the comments below. See you next time on rSpace.